They have some interesting stereotypes in Oregon. You know what I mean? Because I would have thought if you wanted to throw something at black people to be racist and create, I would have thought it'd have been a leg. You know what I mean? I thought it'd been a leg or a thigh. They throwing cake. Is that what y'all think? Just black people love cake? I do like cake. I can tell you that. I do like cake. Welcome to Racist of the Week. My name is Reese Waters. This is where we expose the stupidity and hypocrisy of discrimination in hopes we can build a more perfect union. And also laugh. As usual, I would like to thank today's sponsor, Racism. And don't forget to like and subscribe to the page, and definitely leave me any possible suggestions for nominees in the comments. Or you can email me at reese@reesewaters.com, and shout out to all my new members here on the channel. Today's first nominee, Maga. Have they broken the record yet? Are they the all-time? I think they have the most now at this point. So you guys remember all that business in Springfield, Ohio, that Maga and Vance and Trump just want to slide into the bushes and act like it never even happened. Specifically when Vance was talking to Dana Bash and he said, well, why don't you talk to the people on the ground and actually present some of the cases that my constituents have been talking about, even though I can't present a single one.
He just said Haitians are eating dogs and cats. Can you affirmatively say now that that is a rumor that has no basis with evidence?
Dana, the evidence is the first-hand account of my constituents who are telling me that this happened. And by the way, I've been trying to talk about the problems in Springfield for months, and the American media ignored it. There was a congressional hearing just last week of angel moms who lost children because Kamala Harris let criminal migrants into this country who then murdered their children. The American media totally ignored this stuff until Donald Trump and I started talking about cat memes. If I have to,
but it wasn't just a meme,
create stories so that the American media actually pays attention to the suffering of the American people, then that's what I'm going to do, Dana, because you guys are completely letting Kamala Harris coast. You had one interview with her. You talk about pushing back against me, Dana. You didn't push back against the fact that she cast the deciding vote on the Inflation Reduction Act, which is why a lot of Americans can't afford food and housing.
You just said that you're creating a story.
Public policy.
Sir, you just said that you're creating the story.
What's that, Dana?
You just said that this is a story that you created. So the eating dogs and cats thing is not accurate.
Dana, it comes from first-hand accounts from my constituents. I say that we're creating a story, meaning we're creating the American media focusing on it. I didn't create 20,000 illegal migrants coming into Springfield thanks to Kamala Harris's policies. Her policies did that, but yes, we created the actual focus that allowed the American media to talk about this story and the suffering caused by Kamala Harris's policies.
Well, you know what, Vance? I got you. I present to you your Haitian. This is Brian Comer of Springfield, Ohio, who was just issued a citation for shooting 2 geese at a golf course, according to Clark County Municipal Court filings. A witness told an officer ahead of Comer's citation that he saw a white male in his late 50s or early 60s riding a lawnmower before getting off and shooting 2 geese with a shotgun. Comer was said to be cooperative and admitted to shooting the 2 geese, according to the filings. He told an officer with the Ohio Department of Natural Resources he believed he was entitled to shoot them. Oh, entitlement. Apparently because the golf course had a nuisance permit. The officer then issued him a citation. He pleaded guilty at his arraignment, and the citation, of course, was issued as Trump and Vance spread the false claim that Haitian immigrants were stealing and eating residents' pets in Springfield. Trump went on to claim that migrants are walking off with the geese in the town. Now, I debunked all of the evidence that they had used. I talk about the now deleted Facebook post involving a cat named Sassy that even the woman in question said was misrepresented. And of course, there was this photo, one that was widely circulated, the viral picture of a man holding two geese on an Ohio street being used to fuel claims that migrants have been gobbling up pets, being nothing more than a wild goose chase. Now, some of the subscribers here on this channel, who I think are the absolute best, they're always on top of everything. The first time that I even acknowledged or addressed this piece of evidence that had been used by Maga, some of my subscribers correctly put in the chat during the premiere of that video that that man was actually removing those geese from the street. He was actually trying to do a civic deed, and that is in fact correct. That man who was carrying the bodies of two birds was removing them from the street after they were hit by a car. This was confirmed to TMZ by the Ohio Division of Wildlife. There's no evidence he was taking them home to eat or that he's even a migrant. So this man is not a migrant. He wasn't in the right part of the state. He was actually doing a good deed. And they say no good deed goes unpunished because, my goodness, the man in the photo is actually unnamed because he doesn't want to identify himself, because he knows how MAGA would react if he would go on record and clarify that he was actually doing a good deed for the state. Just think about that. The man actually was doing a good deed for his neighbors. He has to remain anonymous because of how y'all would react for having your racist theory debunked, as it should have been a long time ago. This is absolutely wild. This is, of course, before the campaign moved on to lying about the storms and all the resources that are available. This campaign has given us an attack on childless Americans. It gave us black jobs. It gave us She Became Black. It gave us the horrific debate performance. It gave us the racist projection in Springfield, Mark Robinson, and now lies about the storm. How is it that this man, he gets to lose the election every week? We just pressed the reset button and he gets to do something this week to lose the election. You know what? I'm gonna save it. Because that's gonna be a whole video. Troubled waters coming soon. Just you wait. Congratulations, MAGA, and also special shout out to you, Brian Comer, for being a part of this. Yes, you are our first nominee as Racist of the Week. Our second nominee, Portland, Oregon. This is like a Reese Waters. This is your life. I got a parent from Portland. I got a parent from North Carolina. Lord knows I've been on Mark Robinson and North Carolina's neck. I got a parent from South Carolina. And of course, I've been talking about Lindsey Graham and Tim Scott and Nancy Mace. I just hollered at my mother about that. I just hollered about Ohio, which is where my wife is from. Ain't nowhere. Hey, Maryland. Y'all better act right. I don't want to hear nothing out of you. Shout out to the Atlanta Black Star that gave us this particular story out of Portland, Oregon. David Douglas High School football team in Portland has competed in 3 away games against rival high schools in Oregon so far this season. And each game brought a deplorable barrage of racial hate speech and behavior. According to the coaches, black players have been subjected to monkey sounds, chants of the N-word, and being called King Kong. Quote, I've coached and played all around the nation and also have played or coached internationally. Never have I witnessed this level of racism on the playing field. That was according to assistant coach Marcel Frazier on Instagram. That is wild. He didn't just include Oregon. He said the whole country. And also internationally. So I guess Oregon, you have that to feel proud of. You're number one. I wonder if the Ducks are going to use that in recruiting. Certainly the rest of the Big Ten should. The Black Star continues. In the most recent bizarre incident, A cake was thrown into an audience of Douglas fans to create chaos during a game against Adrian Nelson High School in Happy Valley. Quote, "We had a cake thrown in the stands at players' parents, as well as monkey sounds being chanted at a coach." Wow. Wow, how high school has changed. See, this is what happens. We always talking about empowering police. What about empowering coaches and school administrators? Because back in my day, if you would have made monkey sounds at a coach, that would have been your last day. And no, I don't mean your last day at the school. I don't mean your last day on the team. I mean your last day. Quote, "Based on where the cake was thrown, we believe the students were not targeting a specific person or individual, but were trying to create chaos amongst the David Douglas fan base, which is inexcusable." Now that's interesting. So they just threw a cake thinking that the fans would riot, because they have some interesting stereotypes in Oregon. You know what I mean? Because I would have thought, if you wanted to throw something at black people to be racist and create, I would have thought it'd have been a leg. You know what I mean? I thought it'd been a leg or a thigh. They throwing cake. Is that what y'all think? Just black people love cake? I do like cake. I can tell you that. I do like cake. Well, that is huh? There's more? Okay. During a game against Forest Grove High School on the edge of the Portland metro area, an unidentified man drove up to the team's bus after the game and made 8 sounds and gestures before driving off. Local police are currently investigating the incident and working to track down the culprit. Well, the good news is that he was in a vehicle which you can track. Now, of course, he definitely wouldn't have done that if he wasn't in a vehicle. So I guess that is the thing that allowed that particular incident to occur in the first place. Huh? There's more? Okay, it continues. The racist attacks continued at an away game at Rex Putnam, an international baccalaureate high school. Okay, so we get some international racism here. Frazier recounted how racial slurs brought a player to tears. The game came to a stop as he sought out his coach to report it. Frazier asked him, "What's going on, man?" And he says to me in tears, "They're calling me the N-word, coach." Now, this actually kind of reminds me of a video we did about the girls in Denver. Of course, these are not young children. These are older children. This is a high school. But the kinds of attacks that young people are expected to endure, because this is somebody who was dealing with this during a game and presumably was tasked with keeping his head in the game. He just had to swallow that as part of his experience, which I guess if you're an adult, you can argue that that is part of the experience of growing up black. But we are supposed to be doing better than that. Well, how exactly are they doing in Oregon? Let's see. After the game was halted, Rex Putnam's athletic director was informed of the incident, but no one was pulled from the field. Adrian C. Nelson's principal, Greg Harris, confirmed that a similar incident happened at his school. A David Douglas athlete reported hearing the N-word used on the field. The game was paused, with officials addressing coaches and coaches then addressing players, but the officials were unable to determine where the language originated. Okay, so if I got this straight, when we knew where the language originated, the game was paused and no one was removed from the field. When it happened later on against a different team, we couldn't determine where the language originated. So that was the excuse you gave for continuing the game and nobody being removed from the field. By virtue of everything that I just read, clearly this is something that has been normalized. So how about everybody removed from the field? How about that? Huh? How about that? If you are supposed to be tasked with educating our youth and teaching them what is and is not acceptable, how about everybody? That'd be a way to stamp that out, you think? Oh, well, we don't know. You know, somebody would throw in their voice. Somebody was throwing their voice. We think that it was a groundhog. It was a groundhog. A groundhog came out at the 45-yard line, right at midfield, and just yelled ends. And then the sound ricocheted off of the bleachers, because we have these bleachers that amplify sound. So the sound ricocheted off the bleachers, and it made it seem like it came from the team, but it wasn't us. The Oregon School Activities Association and all 3 high schools have issued lengthy public statements condemning racism, but for Coach Frazier, it's just not enough. And by virtue of the fact that those games continued, I would support Coach Frazier. What good is your statement condemning racism if you just shrug your shoulders and go back to the game when it happens? Quote, if this is the cesspool that the region has become, there's no way I would feel comfortable raising my future children here. It's a shame. Our boys and coaches should be focused on the game without being subjected to racist abuse. That was on Instagram. The captain of the Forest Grove football team popped up in the comments, apologizing on behalf of his fellow students and players before saying, I'm sorry for not doing a better job. And shout out to the captain of the Forest Grove football team, who's apparently more of an adult than any of the coaches, administrators, or principals of the schools in question, who couldn't even go that far. According to the U.S. News and World Report ranking, 69% of David Douglas's student body identifies as minorities, and 73% of students are economically disadvantaged. Coach Frazier noted how racist bullying exacerbates their vulnerability. Quote, our kids are already facing enough. Just showing up to a school is a freaking battle. Just finding food to eat when they're going home is a freaking battle. And then you go out and you see them get subjected to racism and abuse, and you see the tears in their eyes, and it just, it breaks your heart as an adult. Frazier is advocating for a change in the OSAA's bylaws regarding hate speech and is prepared to take it up the chain of command if necessary. In early October, he returned to Instagram to post House Bill 3409, tagging OSAA Sports. He wrote, please follow this state bill that your executive director, Peter Weber, testified in support of. If this is not upheld, I'll fight like hell alongside state legislatures to add much more teeth to this bill and hold offending schools accountable. The bill was signed into law in 2019 in response to years of racist and discriminatory behavior at school events throughout Oregon, and is designed to hold the districts accountable. So if I got this straight, back in 2019, there was so much racist and discriminatory abuse going on that you had to get a bill signed into law in order to protect Black children in schools. And now, because you won't enforce it, it has to be updated. Yeah, I don't hear about none of that in the Oregon commercials. I don't, not the Visit Oregons. The Visit Oregon don't mention that, and neither does the Oregon Ducks recruiting stuff. I don't see none of this. They should do a better job of communicating exactly what the situation is like on the ground. And if they don't, that's what I'm here for. So congratulations to you, Portland, Oregon, and apparently the state. Congratulations to the state of Oregon. You hear that? See, now that's what needs to happen with this kind of behavior. That's exactly what needs to happen. Congratulations to you, Portland, Oregon. You are our second nominee for Racist of the Week. And Maryland, you better act right. Now, I like to end my Racist on the Week on a positive note whenever possible, and this happened across my desk. You might remember a couple weeks ago, I highlighted Texas Judge David Fleischer, one of the people that is working to undo the kind of discrimination that I just outlined.
Zion Abiola. Mr. Abiola, you're charged with 2 cases. You're charged with evading arrest. You're also charged with unlawful carrying of a weapon. On both of those cases, you're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one will be appointed to you, sir. Okay.
Judge, on May 30th, 2024, also observed 2 Black males walking out of Bedford Place Homeowner Association Park, which is closed after sunset. Officers made contact with the defendant and another male who advised they did not know the park was closed. Defendant kept reaching near his waistband and pocket. Officers attempted to conduct a Terry frisk on the defendant, resulting in the defendant running. Foot pursuit lasted approximately 25 to 30 yards. While running, a black handgun fell from the defendant's waist area. Defendant stated the gun belonged to his mother. Officers recovered a Glock 23, loaded with 1 bullet in the chamber and 7 in the magazine. 15 additional bullets were found inside defendant's book bag, and an extra magazine containing 18 bullets, a total of 41 bullets. Defendant's father arrived on scene and stated the defendant's mother is the one who purchased the weapon for the defendant. Defendant is 19 years of age. He has 2023 unlawful carry of a weapon non-suit as a juvenile, no out-of-county criminal record.
Here's the rub. What's he doing? Walking while black? What's he doing? What's he doing wrong? Was he under arrest? I mean, all I see is that they go up to him and they just start searching, right?
I believe.
Walking while black. Mr. Abiola, I'd be very careful. You know, where you go, what you do may not end up well for you. I'm going to find no probable cause on this case now.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Mr. Abiola, be careful. Just take a seat for me in the back, please. Don't leave. I found no probable cause. Guys, keep it down, please. I found no probable cause. Your cases have been dismissed. The only thing I'm going to counsel you is to be careful. Don't go to parks after hours. Otherwise, they're just going to harass you. You understand? Okay, good luck, man. You're free to go.
Well, you know what? He's back at it.
Mr. Blake, you're charged with possession of marijuana. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent.
Defendant crossed unauthorized crossing point from convenience store to apartment complex.
Wait. He did what?
He crossed an unauthorized crossing point, so I guess he crossed the street.
Is he jaywalking?
Yeah. Yes, Your Honor.
Walking while black.
A PC search was conducted, and the officer observed a large sack of marijuana.
I don't think so. Walking while black. I don't think so. I'm going to find no probable cause.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Blake, be careful, man. You know, the world is against you. Don't let him be. Do something with your life. You know what I mean? The more you just, come on, man. All right, I'm going to have you just take a seat back, all right? Hang tight.
There's a question. First of all, shout out to the judge for saying what needed to be said in that particular moment. But if we have a first instance of trumping up charges for walking while black, and they try it again, it seems that there is a systemic problem with scooping up citizens for walking while black. Why is that not something that's more punitive for the officers on the ground that are repeatedly bringing people in for walking while black? Shout out to the judge, and I see why more judges don't do this, because people would start asking questions like this, but I'm gonna need to holler at some officers. Yeah. What y'all got going on? Thank you guys so much for watching the video, and also a special thank you to all of our subscribers and members here on the channel. I'm just about to roll out the first batch of badges and emoji, and I'm taking your suggestions on what you think would look nice in the chat or look nice next to your name when you leave a comment. Email me at reese@reesewaters.com and let me know what your suggestion would be. We are on the precipice of 200K. What do? We throw a party? We do a special live? You know what? I'm gonna surprise you.